Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to take a big bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond, and London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course, you good old boys in Africa. You know we love that Big C tribe. Big C, we love them in Canada, but there's no one we love more than you good old boys down south, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, on a beautiful March the 12th, 2018. How's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, as chilly as it is down here and the way you kissing up to them boys up in Canada, I might have to take out my lip balm just to keep me protected here.
Yeah. Hey, well, I guess Paul Casey, he caught the vibe of the Big C Sports Show. I tell you, we shouted out, we sang the old Canada for the good old boys, the Toronto Raptors, and they beat down on the Houston Rockets. And then I didn't mean for Tiger to lose. So I thought I sang a United States of America song too, Big C, but we're always trying to give some of that Big C mojo out there in the universe. Speaking of the universe, we have the movie The Black Panther, $1.1 billion, the #1 movie in the universe. I mean, that movie's blowing up. And also, we have words on the NFL. We have some things going on in the NBA. But Big C, we'll start on Tiger Woods next, because what a great event. But I want to get just a story. We hear people do stupid things, and nobody's perfect. But this thing about
why are you talking about the president?
well,
this is sports show.
Well, I understand that. It's all fair and love and war. But I remember there was a kid in college football. He was about to be drafted, and he was smoking on a bong, and he recorded it. I guess they didn't have a frontal lobe, but it cost him several $1 million. I don't know what happened with the Odell Beckham thing. I don't even know. So I just hear rumors about whatever people saw. Your thoughts on Odell Beckham? What do you think?
Well, Larry Tunsil was the player a couple of years ago out of the University of Mississippi. Cost him several draft slots, in a draft a couple of years ago where he was projected a top 5 pick, ended up going around 14th, ended up going to Miami.
Yeah.
But Odell Beckham, in this day and age of electronics and everybody deals in, and don't you realize if you record something, somebody's going to post it, somebody's going to find it?
Yeah.
But I guess, he was over in Italy.
Yeah.
Hanging out with a model.
Yeah.
On his own leisure time, just like Larry Thompson was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Now, he had a pizza laying there in the bed. Now, he was...
he had a wet laying in the bed, Big
C? He had a pizza.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
But he also had this brown object in his finger, this oblong object, looked like he was smoking on it. I don't know what that
cigar?
was.
Maybe a cigar, possibly.
But I think they also spilled some mozzarella cheese on a flat object and they were trying to scrape it back up with the credit card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they got caught on camera that they spilled some mozzarella cheese and they were trying to get it back together with the credit card.
Yeah.
Making little lines so it'd be easy to slide on through each slice of the pizza and everybody got an equal amount.
Yeah. I don't know what to say, because I haven't seen the video, and I think they wanted to release that video before the Trump and Stormy Weathers video came out, Big C. So obviously, I guess people are into homemade videos. But something about when I hear about athletes and what they do in Hollywood, the entertainment industry, I think there is because this is real talk, so we can't pretend like, oh my God, this is the first person in the history of the universe to ever snort mozzarella cheese through his nose. Sometimes people put it through the mouth, Big C. Come on, you've been around the block. Why are people acting like, oh my God, we just discovered gold on Mars, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, I think from Odell Beckham perspective and even a sponsorship perspective, Charlton, is that you're looking at an individual that you're talking about pushing your particular product.
Yeah.
And that you want to be the face of your promotions.
Yeah.
And so Odell Beckham, his crying about being the highest paid player in the NFL or even just the highest paid receiver.
Yeah.
You have to look at how these things are portrayed and construed.
Yeah.
You know, when you're looking at conduct, you know, in the NFL contract from the Players Association and the league's office.
Yeah.
These things go under the highest scrutiny. Now, he's out of the country. He's in a foreign land.
Yeah.
So who knows what the rules are over there? You know,
Yeah.
it's been a while since I had a pizza on the road. So,
Yeah.
But, you know, when you look at Odell, you know,
Did you eat the pizza through your nose, Big C, or did you put it through your mouth? How you guys down south eat pizza, Big C?
I eat mine without mozzarella cheese, okay?
Okay.
I don't need the mozzarella. I just dump the extra cheese on. I like mine stringy.
Yeah.
Okay? So, you know, what Odell has to look at is a bit of maturity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's any rich person, not just an athlete, Charlton.
Yeah.
Discretion. I mean, when you want to show what you're doing in your personal life, and you want to put it out there for public scrutiny,
it's dumb.
You have to be able to withstand the public backlash.
Yeah.
And the repercussions that come from that.
Yeah.
And as an athlete, you're always under a microscope.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you want to be so brazen that you figure that you can do or say anything that you want, and yet you don't own the business that you're working in, okay?
Yep.
You're just an employee. You're a pedestrian.
Yeah.
You can be replaced. I mean, as good as you are. I mean, every great receiver has been gone from the NFL.
Yeah.
They've all been replaced.
Yeah.
There's not one receiver that facilitated a franchise to its greatness, as they will say, because they're secondary entities to a quarterback.
Yeah.
And, you know, as good as Odell is, and, you know, it was evident last year when he was injured, the lack of productivity with the Giants' offense.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee he's going to be Odell when he comes back from his Achilles.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be looked at under a different light when it comes to negotiations.
Yeah.
This is going to be held against him.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do in your personal life.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the representation of an organization, they said we don't condone this type of behavior.
Yeah.
Just like with Larry Tunsil when he wanted to pull off the gas mask with the bong attached to it.
Yeah.
You know, this is what cost him millions of dollars.
That's a very good point.
Do you look at him now in his long-term guaranteed contract?
Yeah.
Or do you put him in a structured incentive-laden contract now?
I think incentive makes a lot of sense, Big C. This section sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. You can drive a car or you could drive a Cadillac. Back in the day, we saw a movie by the name of North Dallas 40, and it chronicled some of the real things that go on in the world of the sports business. And I know there's reality, and then there's TV. And sometimes people don't want to know, like, who would believe our president is buying a prostitute? Okay, she's a porn star, so she's not a prostitute. From what I understand, you can't have the activity until you pay.
No, he was buying adult entertainment. Okay?
Adult, okay.
Semantically, you got to put that right.
Okay,
right?
well, semantically,
buying adult entertainment.
Well, some men are incarcerated for that same entertainment. So it depends on how you semantically, okay? But I gotta look at this thing, and I'm not defending Odell Beckham. I think he's a knucklehead for doing whatever he did, but I wasn't there. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know. But I look at Lawrence Taylor, who was a Hall of Famer, played for same organization, New York Giants, and he's in the Hall of Fame. We know players go through things. The late John Matuzak, he had some things that he went through back in the day, and people know. I mean, it's one thing, is it okay if nobody knows about it publicly, but people in the behind the scenes, they know what their athletes are doing. I mean, there's some parties in Hollywood, Big C, they have mozzarella cheese on the table the same way they have water, okay? And people know that. But we're just saying don't make it public, but people know it's real, Big C. That make any sense, Big C?
Well, Charlton, the Giants have been an organization highly touted for these type of actions with their players.
Yeah.
Whether it's spousal abuse, whether it's drug use.
Yeah.
But the Giants have a long-running history and even stand behind the players.
Yep.
So they semi-condone this to a degree when you think about it. All of the players that we have seen in these type of actions have gotten contract extensions.
Yep, they have.
Lawrence Taylor,
yeah,
with his high motor throughout his career.
Yep.
Josh Brown with his consistent spousal abuse.
20 times.
And now Odell Beckham, with the mozzarella cheese on the plate.
Yeah.
In the hotel room in Italy.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how the Mara family deals with this. And they can't be too hypocritical of it. because this is what they've allowed in the past. And they can't say, okay, all of a sudden we're going to put our foot down now because who knows what they might find under their soul.
Well, yeah, that's a very good point, Big C. And we know, I mean, reality is, I think if anyone needs help with some type of an addiction, but we've also known, I've known nearly stories be told, if we look at the Kerner Commission came out a long time ago, but if you look at this war on drugs, and Nancy Reagan had this thing, Just Say No, there are millions of black men and women that are incarcerated because they also put mozzarella cheese in their nose, or they sold it, Big C, and they're in prison for it, okay? And so we've known when people have a lot of money, whether it's Hollywood or athletes or in politics, it's considered a different thing. It's considered a social thing. And people know that. That's the thing about it. When I hear our networks and I hear some of our media brethren say, I can't believe this guy would do that, they know it's been going on for years. It's not as if it's new. Yes, it's dumb that you have it on camera or somebody's taping you. And what we just talking about last week, if you're going to hang out with somebody, tape it. Maybe the woman got the message before Odell Beckham got the message, Big C. Doesn't that make sense? So it's not new, though. That's the thing that it's not new. Why are we trying to act like it's the first time in the history, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it's been a long-running stance. I mean, and that's what you got the president fighting. Release of audio, video, and even still photographs of him with his adult entertainment.
Yeah.
And so, as athletes are constantly being told, I mean, you even have these rookie seminars when you come into the league, when you're drafted.
Yeah.
They support Supportium or whatever they want to call them.
Yeah.
And they caution the rookies against the things that will occur, the pitfalls that are out there. But, once you make a certain amount of money, I guess you call it that FU money.
Yeah.
And, it's they get that mindset. It's like, I can afford to do and get myself out of anything that I want to.
Yeah.
But, it comes down to, we look at money that players make in their contracts.
Yep.
But even more often, players make an equal amount of outside entities through endorsements. I mean, you look at Odell.
Yeah.
The amount of commercials that he has on television. I mean, there's 3 or 4 commercials that he's involved in on television.
Yeah.
How will that hurt him as far as those endorsement goes?
Yeah.
Those are the things that really carry on in life. Are you marketing? You look at Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
He probably makes more money now than what he made while he was in the NBA per year.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, and Shaq made a whole lot of money. Shaq was rich.
He's smart.
Okay?
Yeah.
But you look how clean he was as a player. There was never anything that came about Shaq. No scandals or anything. Shaq was clean.
Yeah.
And he's still clean.
Yeah.
He's very lovable. He's very marketable. He's larger than life in every capacity he's ever been in.
Yeah.
And so Shaq is the model of what an athlete should be.
Yeah.
On and off the court, and even in the afterlife of his athletic career.
Yeah.
Shaq should hold the supportiums about, hey, guys, this is how you should maintain yourself.
Yeah.
How you should carry yourself.
Yeah.
This is the character that you need to portray.
Yeah.
And stay away from that video camera. I mean, that iPhone is the number one detriment of so many athletes, Charlton, and even entertainers.
Yeah.
That selfie business, I had that turned off on my camera.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, everybody wants to be what they call a selfie model, as opposed to going through the ropes and really, getting discovered, etc. But everybody's going to find their 15 minutes or their 15 seconds of fame. So whether it's Odell Beckham, we know of Mercury Morris, what he's done back in the day. There are a couple of Dallas Cowboy players that have had that same issue. I'm sure you could look all over the NFL and find players who've dealt with that, Big C. And it wasn't in the era where people could record everything on their phone now. But we do know in our society, it seems like anything goes in the United States right now. Everybody can be famous or stupid. It's all up to them. So whatever Beckham's going to do, he made his bed. He has a lay in it, no pun intended, Big C. And I think for every other athlete, it's not going to stop. There's always going to be someone that does something foolish. I just think that we're acting like it's the first time in the history of the universe that somebody has done stupid with mozzarella cheese or whatever they try to use, Big C, when they have impeached him. I do want to touch on something that really galvanized the sports universe over the weekend. And we talk about athletes who go through good and bad times, and sometimes they're torn down by the media after they're built up by the media. I look at the Valspar Open, and I look at the great Tiger Woods. Big C, the TV ratings by NBC, 190%. How do you get 190% over last year with anything? And that's because of the Tiger Woods effect. Came in second, had a chance to win it, had a chance to actually shoot about 12 under. But of course, it's easier to talk about putting than it is to putt. But your thoughts on what is it about this guy again that was torn down for a long time by mainstream media because his wife broke out the back of his Cadillac Escalade window, and they made it seem like he broke out her car, okay? And his sponsorships fell by the wayside because he was having whatever relationships with a Caucasian woman, and a lot of people still don't like that, even though they smile on your face. What is it about Tiger that made him chase 80 and it had the whole golf world on his toes? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charles, it's called a fishbowl.
Yeah.
And it's strange, we always see Cat sitting on the outside of a fishbowl looking in at the fish. Okay?
Yeah.
But Tiger's the big fish.
Yeah.
When that Tiger mania shows up, it's like nothing else was relevant.
Yeah.
When you think about it, you had March Madness, Selection Sunday going on.
Yeah.
And tournament championships played on Saturday. They were irrelevant because the people were glued to something that they hadn't seen in 5 years.
Yeah.
You see March Madness every year.
Yeah.
But Tiger, you had not seen this since 2013.
Yeah.
And what he did to a society when he came on the scene and he changed the landscape, the diaspora,
yeah,
the complexion,
yeah,
everything about golf, the economics.
Yep.
Is that the young guys that you see nowadays that are reaping the benefits of what Tiger did a couple decades ago, Charlton?
Yeah.
Didn't appreciate.
Yeah.
Didn't understand. It's almost like when we talk about Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone talks about Michael, the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And they talk about Russell Westbrook's triple-double last year.
Yeah.
Where Wilt did that by halftime all the time in his career. But what Tiger brought to the landscape, he brought that rejuvenation of hope.
Yeah.
To everybody. The guys who had lost faith in golf.
Yeah.
Who didn't care to watch it.
Yep.
Who said, now, the guy who brought me into this is back.
Yep.
I'm sitting here, and now I'm watching the guy that I know that can play the game.
Yeah.
And that's what Tiger did. I mean, you think about, everyone thought Justin Speed a couple of years ago was going to take over where Tiger had no longer ascended to.
Yeah.
Justin Speed, in his professional career, has 17 missed cuts at major golf tournaments.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
Okay? Tiger has 15 in his entire career.
Yeah.
His entire career. 2 less than Justin Speed.
Yeah.
And he's played professional golf, 16 years longer than Justin Speed had.
Yeah.
So when you think about what Tiger did, and you talk about the TV ratings being up.
Yeah.
And those guys have always hinted about Tiger.
Yeah.
So you can see and feel the love that they have for Tiger because Tiger makes their job easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch the course, you see the ebb and flow of crowds when Tiger moves.
Yep.
And golfers now realize why golf is what it is. The young guys on the tour, when you sit out there and say, wow, this guy is something else. I did not realize. I heard about this Tiger magnetism.
Yep.
And what he meant to the game. But now I'm here, and he's being competitive. I got 12 people following me on the course.
Yeah.
He's got 2,000.
Yeah, that's interesting because money moves the world, and it's part of the black diaspora where since leaving the African continent, every organization that's brought in black athletes and black talents from aeronautics to sports to math and science in Hollywood, they've always risen to the top. And I'm just saying, as a people, there has been so much anathema against black Americans. People were anti-black for education, anti-black for voting, for housing. Even today, trying to get a loan with the bank, if you're black, you have a better chance writing right on the application because you may get the loan. And that's a fact. I know people in the loan business that do that. They mark white on the application, they get the loan. They mark black, they get declined. And you can, I mean, that's just a fact. It's a shame in 2018, but it still works that way. But when you look at NBC executives saying their ratings up 190% from last year, all that shows for everybody that wants to have more money. I mean, who wouldn't want more money, Big C? No matter what your...
Charles, think about this. This wasn't even a major.
No.
This is the highest rated golf tournament on television in 5 years that was not a major.
Yeah.
You think about the last time the tournament was this close, Tiger was playing in it 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. There's something about the magic of cinema and talent. And I just want to do, I mean, I'd be remiss if I did not say, "Oh, Canada, our home and native land." You guys can laugh at me all you want, but you can't say I didn't sing that song. And then that good old boy, Paul Casey, won. And I appreciate the fact that he even said, as a young man and someone whose friend had just lost a spouse, and so he played with a heavy heart also, but he said that if he didn't win, that he wanted Tiger to win because he has such respect for what Tiger brought to the world of the golf universe. And that's what a lot of media people turned their backs on over the years because they were tired of having too much money. But again, I look at what Casey did, won $1.1 million, and he finished 10 under. And then you have Tiger Woods also.
Is he going to be able to go across the border with that? Now, you know they're putting up a wall and a tariff, you know.
No,
and so I guess he has to take that in paper money. He can't take that in coin because there's a steel tariff on now.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I'm sure he'll have a way to get through there. And Tiger finished ninth, and he also was a tie with Patrick Reed that finished ninth. You know, I kind of feel for Tiger. He only made $572 million, big chump change for Tiger Woods. That's probably less money than he came there in his purse or his backpack. And then you have guys like, you know, Sergio Garcia finished 8 under. Justin Rose finished 7 under. Rory Sabatini finished 7 under. And then I look at a guy like Jim Furyk, who I really respect, finished at 6 under. And so going down the line, the thing that I love about what Tiger Woods did over the weekend, Big C, is he showed the golf universe that not only did they lose money by spending so many years trying to tear him down. I'm not blaming anybody but Tiger's own. He had a health issue and had back surgery, and they made it seem like it was all of his undoing because of it just all tied back into the relationship thing with his former wife, Elin. So for Tiger, I'm glad that he came back because it shows young people, Big C, it shows them not to quit when they get knocked down, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, perseverance. I mean, that's part of an athlete's makeup, is that you always are going to have critics. I mean, with everybody, at some point in their career, has to deal with the critics.
Yeah.
But the biggest critic of any athlete is that athlete.
Yeah.
To understand what their limits are.
Yeah.
You know, what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
That's what you look at from an athletic perspective. I mean, from day one when you walk out there, there's always going to be comparisons.
Yep.
There's always going to be people who do not want you to succeed or to break someone's particular record.
Yeah.
But as an athlete, you were built as a competitor.
Yeah.
You were built to be the best, regardless of where you sit in the rankings. You're built to be the best because that's the reason why you go out there.
Yeah.
You don't go out there and say, well, you know, I hope to be in the top 20 and I hope to try to get a paycheck. You know, my job is, you know, as Tiger, you know, Tiger walks out there, you know, guys, have a great day because I'm taking it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And that's how the media now is looking at Tiger. You know, he came in today with the third best odds to win the Masters.
Oh, he's going to win the
he
Masters
hasn't won
too.
a tournament in 5 years.
He's going to win the Masters this year.
He has the third best odds right now to win the Masters.
Yeah.
Vegas loves him.
Yeah.
You know, they know they're going to get money play on him.
Yeah.
Augusta right now will be sold out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the way that Tiger's playing right now, you know, ticket prices just went up.
Well, hold on, Big C. Does that mean that you and I can get a membership at Augusta, Big C? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if they're hiring groundskeepers.
I thought you said Augusta sold out. I was misunderstanding the semantics of selling out, Big C. I thought they were selling out the good old boys. Okay, but maybe I'll just have to get a media pass to cover that. I was about to go drop some money to join that good old boy golf club. But anyway, I tell you, Tiger, no matter what's going on, in the world of golf. He brings the needle up on the TV and radio dials, Twitter. Everybody's blowing up, and that shows every young person. It's not just about sports, but we always say that sports will bring our society together sooner than politics and religion. Because if anything, you got to compete. Nobody's going to give you anything. Even if you are given something, you got to go out there and earn it. Big C, speaking of earning it, we look at the NBA, and I look at the shift coming to the West Coast, whether it's the Portland Trailblazers. I've been saying this for the last probably, since Christmas, that the Portland Trailblazers are a team I don't want to face. Them good old boys are poised. They're the number 3 seed right now in the Western Conference. If you get them at home, you're probably going to lose that game. And I like the way they play mainly because of Damian Lillard. I know he has support, but there's just something about the way he can play and shoot the ball, especially at home. I look at the LA Lakers and the Clippers. They both entertain Cleveland. Now, Cleveland's missing some players, and there's postcards and billboards saying, LeBron, please come to LA. And I just want to get your thoughts. Is that shine still there? Because the Lakers, Big C, I know people may not agree with this, but the Lakers look like they're just 2 great players away. They don't really need LeBron James for the next couple of years. They have guys they can build around for the next 7 years, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, isn't every team 2 great players away, Charlton, for being great?
Yeah.
But it's also putting together win streaks. That's the sign of greatness.
Yeah.
Is being consistent. I mean, everybody's courting LeBron. There's more interest in where LeBron is going to do his business next year than there is in the season that's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's almost like everyone's nailed in the season for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Saying, well, LeBron, just get ready for next year's move.
Yeah.
Now, LeBron has 2 houses in Los Angeles, okay?
Yep.
He has a house in the Cleveland-Akron area that's bigger than both of those houses put together.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the size of real estate, everybody who is wealthy has more than one property. Yeah. They do.
Well, Big C,
in multiple cities, multiple countries.
Big C, Laura Ingram wants to know, how does LeBron James afford 2? How does one of them get 2 houses? Can you explain to Laura Ingram how LeBron, he does more than shut up and dribble? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, we also got to let Laura know that there's basketball courts at all 3 of those houses, so he can dribble wherever he is.
Okay, so maybe it was a compliment.
He's just like any mogul anywhere, Charles.
Yeah.
He lives where he wants to live.
Yeah.
He may not always want to be in a hotel when he goes someplace. If he's going to be there for an extended stay.
Yeah.
He wants the comforts at home.
Yeah.
And so he has set that up. But, it's hard to say what's the dynamic for LeBron.
Yeah.
You look at the Lakers. They beat Cleveland last night.
Yeah.
But is that a recipe for continuing success? I mean, they won 22 games this year, so that may be a couple things.
Yeah.
The Clippers have done the same thing.
Yeah.
But as you say, they're down 4 or 5 players, the Cavaliers are.
Yeah.
So, they got players right now playing that wouldn't get 10 minutes in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, they don't have that uniformity on the court. That's what you got to look for. We talked about this last week, Charlton, about staying healthy.
Yeah.
The teams that stay healthy will make those long, lengthy runs into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Cleveland is beat up right now.
Yeah.
And we see the Warriors struggling with Steph out. They've lost 2 consecutive games.
Yeah.
But I can't put my finger on L.A. saying LeBron is guaranteed going to be there. There's a 3-way run.
Yeah.
When you look at it. Philadelphia is exciting. I mean, when you look at what they have as a makeup composite in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You look at, and it's less competitive going to Philadelphia than it would be going to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because look at the road you got to run through Los Angeles. You got 4 teams that you have to leapfrog to be the top team in the West.
Yeah.
At best, even going to L.A., Charlton, all he can hope for is being the 3rd best team in the West.
Yeah.
Because Houston's not going anywhere and Golden State's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't see the Lakers have enough firepower to knock either one of those off their pedestal, even with James and company coming along.
Well, they're 29-36 right now, 21 games back, and Golden State 51-16. And just want to get your thoughts. I know that people may wonder, and of course I know that LeBron James and also Durant made that commercial. They were driving around in your Escalade when I guess Kerry Champ was driving them. They were asking about, they both made a snide remark that they're the best 2 players in the basketball, right? But Steph Curry, when he's out, you really see that it's hard to carry a team. I know Durant's a stud. Okay, he might be one of the top players in the universe, of course. But when it comes to not having Steph Curry on your team, I mean, they're not the same team at all. So whether they get the home court advantage or not, I think it's more important for Curry to keep this guy rested so that ankle can heal up. Whatever it is, whatever the severity of it is, they need his production. Not only does he draw the defense, he stretches the defense also because he can shoot from three. And he can also penetrate because he's great with the ball. He can dish and give the assist because he's not selfish. He finds his teammates. But Golden State right now, no matter how great Steve Kerr is, he doesn't look as great when you don't have Curry. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charleston, that if you look at the top 8 teams in the NBA, 4 in the West, 4 in the East, all of them that way. You think about Anthony Davis went down a couple nights ago with a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
In New Orleans. Everybody thought he might be out some length of time. He came back last night, had a triple-double.
Yeah.
You know, just coming back into the lineup, it shows how important it is to have your star in your lineup. If you build around a team, what is Cleveland without LeBron? I mean, they're competitive without the other players.
Yeah.
But without LeBron, they're a team that can't win.
Yeah.
You saw that a few years ago when he went to Miami.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, they have enough firepower in Golden State to win without him, even when he's down.
Yeah.
I mean, they might drop a couple of games here or there because it's hard to replace 25 points in the starting lineup.
Oh, yeah.
It just is in the NBA.
Yeah.
What would Houston be without James Harden? If James Harden was gone for a week, they're going to lose all those games most likely.
Yeah.
You look at OKC with Westbrook. He's the straw that stirs the drink right there.
Yeah.
You talk about Lillard in Portland. You look at DeRozan in Toronto.
Yeah.
You look at Kyrie Irving in Boston, Charlton. Superstars drive the NBA.
Yeah.
And without these key players, I mean, you look at the Lakers. Here's a team that, you know, you got Ball with all the hoopla.
Yeah.
He scored, what, 2 baskets last night?
He's an assist guy.
2 baskets.
Yeah.
But, you know, Thomas is a spark that's there. I mean, you can talk about a guy as the future.
Yeah.
And you don't want to say a guy is not the future when he was the number 2 overall draft pick.
Yeah.
But we've seen more number 2 overall draft picks be bust in the NBA than we have seen them be successful.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So don't say that the guy is the next superstar. He's trying to get to that level.
Yeah, they got to earn it. And I love the moxie of Isaiah Thomas. He plays like Isaiah Thomas for the Detroit Pistons, the Hall of Famer. The guy has attitude. And this is when people get caught up in whether some guy is 6'5 or 6'10 or he's a 6'3 point guard. You know, maybe he's 5'9", 5'8. Whatever he is, he's a baller. And I'm seeing so much in him. Now, he's not Kobe Bryant in stature, but he is Kobe Bryant in attitude. No, he's not the shooter that Kobe Bryant was. But you need guys. I mean, he's probably like Byron Scott back in the day, but I'd say better than Byron Scott. That also helped the Lakers win a championship. I really like the way he plays, and he may have a Napoleon complex per media, but he does not have the Napoleon complex when it comes to playing on the basketball court. He really brings it every time. Big C, I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. For every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports. Whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, or your mom and pop soccer league, when you reach out to them, let them know Big C sent you at 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. Big C, San Antonio, I know you're a big Popovich fan. I know you like how he's been doing this thing for 20 years, having the Spurs relevant in the NBA universe. And now there's talk that they may even, I mean, I don't want to say they're going to miss the playoffs because he's too good a coach. You got to show me that after it happens. But they are playing on the road tonight. They're playing at Houston. And Houston right now, they got to get back to the winning ways after losing to Old Canada. They're 51-14. And San Antonio's 37-29, 14.5 out. Can you give me your thought on what's going on with San Antonio outside of Kawhi Leonard? And do they have a chance to really miss the playoffs for the first time in about 20 years? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you know, this is an organization that has gotten long in the tooth.
Yeah.
You know, and Kawhi Leonard was built to be their future, but he's been out all year basically with this quad injury.
Yeah.
And which has dropped them down in the rankings. I don't feel that they will miss the playoffs because Pop is savvy enough
Yeah.
to understand what it takes to get over the hump.
Yeah.
There's even some suggestion that Kawhi Leonard may play the last 15 games of the season.
Yeah.
Jonathan, there's some talk of that.
Yeah.
But, whatever boost this organization can get,
Yeah.
the history run that they've had with the 20 consecutive seasons, and
That's
that
amazing.
shows the perseverance and the ingenuity of Coach Popovich, how he's able to mold players to fit into his scheme year in and year out.
Yeah.
And not have the superstars that everyone covets around the NBA. You don't hear the media talking about the players in San Antonio.
No.
Nor the 5 championships that he's put together since he's been there, Charlton.
Yeah.
All the talk goes elsewhere. You think about it. He, as a coach, has been more successful than every team that LeBron has been on.
Yeah.
You think about that. LeBron doesn't have the championships that Popovich has
Yeah.
in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, when you think about what he's done in San Antonio and the players that he's put together over the years,
Yeah.
and no egos involved, that's a big key in success in professional sports.
Yeah.
Is that you got to have some guys who are willing to tuck that ego in the back pocket, sit
Yep.
down on it,
Yep.
and just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And that's what Pop has been able to teach down in San Antonio during his tenure.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a fantastic job. So even hearing the fact that they may or may not, I think that's a motivation for Coach Pop and also the players down at San Antonio. And Houston's not going to run the table the rest of the season. This is an interstate rival, and obviously Pop will get his guys up for Houston. Even if they lose that game, I think they'll have a good fight, Big C. I want to bring up, if we look at Toronto, and I love singing, "Oh, Canada." And Casey, I think they follow Big C Sports with the big CNN tower up there in Toronto, so they pick up Big C Sports very well. But I don't know if there's any professional organization in the NBA that can rival the crowd that you have in Canada. There's something about being a one-nation team. Not only do they show up, and of course they have Drake doing his thing, but they really get behind this team, and they feed so much energy. And if they were a team inside the United States border, I think they'd be appreciated a little bit more. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I don't know about that, Jonathan. To have the fanfare of an entire country following you.
Yeah.
I mean, everything here in the U.S. is regional.
Yeah.
You can have teams in the same state, and they hate each other. You think about, you just mentioned San Antonio.
Yeah.
And Houston playing in interstate rivalry. There's 3 teams in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay? Splitting one state, 3 NBA teams. Just like in California, when you look at the number of NBA teams splitting, areas in California.
Yeah.
So, you got fanfare separated. In Canada, it's just one team
Yeah.
that owns the entire country.
Yeah.
That it's the heartbeat of that NBA culture.
Yeah.
The Toronto Raptors. They had the Vancouver Grizzlies years ago before they departed from Memphis.
Yeah.
So it became a one-nation team, just like with the Toronto Blue Jays when the Montreal Expos left and went and became the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
You became a one-country team again. So, to have that fanfare that, when you're a Canadian, you're a Raptor fan.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference whether you're in Nova Scotia, Quebec,
Yep.
Vancouver, Calgary. You
Edmonton.
are
Yeah.
a Raptor fan.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's unparalleled when you think about professional sports.
Yeah.
To have an entire nation behind one team.
Yeah.
The U.S., you can never even think about anything like that. I mean, they have stuff down here saying the Cowboys are America's team. Well, you don't say that in D.C.
No.
Okay? You don't say that in D.C. You don't say it in Los Angeles.
Right.
You definitely don't say it in Houston.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, they're not America's team in certain cities.
Yeah.
And so that's how you got to look at it. I mean, the Yankees, as big as the Yankees are,
Yeah.
okay, as far as baseball genre goes and all the championships they won,
Yeah.
you can't wear a Yankees hat in Boston.
No, I tried it. I tried it. I thought it was raining.
So-
I said, why is it raining in the summertime? There's some good boys that are spitting up in the air and coming down. Yeah, you're right. Don't wear your Boston stuff in New York, and don't wear your New York stuff when you're up in Boston. And the good boys take it serious. So, Big C, I think if anything, not that expansion is going to happen anytime soon, but you just brought up a point. When Toronto's in, they're playing an NBA team. I don't know what it's like when someone lives in Canada and then they come to the United States, how they have to exchange the money, how they pay taxes on the money. I'm sure all of that plays a part in whether or not someone's going to get taxed a certain amount of money. And I believe when you play, you travel, you get taxed based on the state that you earn the money in, not the state that you live in. And so maybe they can get another team up in Canada, because you're right, that's big enough to support more than one team. And speaking of Canada, just tonight, the NHL, we have Columbus, and they're favored against Montreal. Carolina's favored against the New York Rangers. You have Washington, they're favored against Winnipeg. And Las Vegas, of all places, favored against Philadelphia. Florida, they're favored against Ottawa. Anaheim's favored against St. Louis. San Jose's favored against Detroit. And Los Angeles is favored against Vancouver. Got to find a way to get the NBA, at least another NBA team, back in Canada. Big C, the Serena Williams and Venus. We just talked last week how some great athletes come out of the same womb. Okay, they were born the same father, same parents, and now that Serena's back, she gave birth to a beautiful child, and now she's getting her swing back, getting her groove back. Big C, and her sister. Just talk about the impact that they're making on the world of the tennis universe being so dominant at this sport. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they're going to face tonight for the 29th time in their career.
Yeah.
You think about the longevity. You know, people don't realize that these sisters not only love each other, but they're the greatest of competitors. Now, Serena holds the age between the two of them at 17 to 11, Charlton, and tonight will be their 29th head event as professionals. But, you know, they approach this as professional competitors.
Yeah.
You know, they leave. We talked about tucking that ego away, like in San Antonio.
Yeah.
To make yourself better.
Yeah.
They leave that ego in the locker room as far as family.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
You know, you were my big sister.
Yeah.
You always beat up on me, except when we were little.
Uh-huh.
And so that's what Serena's been doing to Venus.
Yeah.
As of late.
Yeah.
But you know, it's great for the tennis world.
Yeah.
To see two minority athletes compete at the highest level of competitiveness, Charlton, and they've competed against each other in all the majors.
Yeah.
And to have that all-black final, you know, it has been great. You know, this is something that America 50 years ago could have never imagined.
Oh, yeah.
30 years ago, Charlton could have never imagined.
Yeah.
Probably even 20 years ago, they could have never imagined that these Williams sisters would have dominated the white tennis landscape, just like Tiger has.
Yeah.
That you've had minorities dominate in the last 20 years. The two major sports that whites have owned in the world, the last two that they owned, Charlton.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And they've been dominated by Tiger Woods and the Williams sisters.
You know, that's something that will transcend into the classroom. I think about Marva Collins and success that she had with kids in academia. They were not necessarily great athletes. They learned to be scholar athletes and scholar students because someone poured into them. The same way athletics pours into people, the same thing can happen in the academic realm. So that's why we encourage, I think, the Steph Curry and a lot of the NBA guys, they're doing some things with trying to bridge the gap with Silicon Valley, where there are more billionaires in Silicon Valley than anywhere else in the United States of America. Most of it comes from Asia. And that's because they start in the school districts understanding that at an early age it's about trying to create something great and not just someone telling you what you can or can't do. Big C, thinking of doing something great, I look at the movie Black Panther, and we talked about how Birth of a Nation was anathema to Black Panther. It was anti-black. They applauded lynchings, okay? And that's just horrific when you think about it. And people think, well, that's back in the past. But imagine seeing someone you love lynched right in front of your face, in front of your kids, in front of your wife, in front of your grandparents, in front of the city. And the people doing it have a Bible in one hand, and they're saying, God bless America. And that's what this country went through. And that knucklehead Woodrow Wilson, the plot of that movie, is a shame. But the world always arcs toward justice. The movie Black Panther, right now, the #1 movie in the universe, $1.1 billion in less than 30 days. It's still the #1 movie, and the #2 movie is called A Wrinkle in Time by Ava DuVernay. She's the director of 13th, the documentary. I bring it up because, as we mentioned last week, who doesn't want $1 billion? When you're a studio, even the Oscars, Hollywood, Oscar #SoWhite. Chris Rock talked about that. And again, I know sometimes people say it's seasonal, it's going to go back to what it used to be. Like water will always find its own level. But I hope that Hollywood, the banking institution, whether you're looking for a mortgage loan, whether you're looking for a business loan, black money sells too. Black talent sells too. There's a thing called the black Jim Crow in Hollywood. They know it exists. It definitely exists in banking with redlining. It exists. It's always existed. But if you're a person at a bank and you're trying to bankroll a Hollywood movie, and you have the two top movies in the universe are produced and directed by black Americans, who doesn't want $1 billion? Open up the opportunities for everybody, people of color, women. It doesn't matter what color you are. Give people that opportunity. Money talks, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, talking from an investor's perspective, that's where the talking comes from. When they start to see that I can make money somewhere, that's what makes investors excited. It's not always the color. And so investors will decide a lot of times where the money is going to be going, where it's going to spend, who's going to be involved in it.
Yeah.
It's like with athletes, Charlton. You know, when we look at how the color has changed of the landscape of professional sports, even college sports, Charlton.
Yeah.
Where they call it integration. No, it's called investment.
Yeah.
Integration has nothing to do with investment. Integration, you know, is something that you allow people to do.
Yeah.
Investment, Jackie Robinson was an investment.
Yeah.
To avoid the Negro Leagues.
Yeah.
Of existence.
Yeah.
That was the investment.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It worked.
integration.
Yeah. It worked.
You know, and it's like technology. Technology is an investment. It's not integration.
Yeah.
Because you can't integrate people with technology. You know, people try to keep up with technology.
Yeah.
Technology leaves people behind.
Yeah.
And so when we look at this movie role of what's going on now, Hollywood will see there's an investment in minority money.
Yep.
Because there's a return.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to look at. I need to, you know, as a viewer, how many roles can you see Meryl Streep in?
Ain't that something?
You know,
Yeah.
You know, she's been nominated 22 times. That means she's been in a lot of roles.
Yeah.
She's gotten older.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is no longer, you know, the young character he was when Star Wars first came out. He is not Raiders of the Lost Ark any longer, Charles.
Yep. Millennium Falcon.
And so when you look at these actors, George Clooney is not working any longer. He's raising a family.
Yep.
You know, so when you look up and down the list at these actors who have held on to Hollywood forever,
Yeah.
John Wayne's not coming back.
Oh, wait, hold on. You just, what, Big C? I love some of the movies, so don't talk about the Duke, but you know he went to USC, Big C, by the way.
So, you know, you have to look at the model of society changing.
Yeah.
When you're an investor.
Yeah.
Where's the new dollar?
Yeah.
That's what you got to look at.
Yeah.
Is where is the new dollar?
Yeah.
And so you got to find a way to get the minority dollar. You've taken all the white dollars that you can.
They sure have.
You know,
Yeah.
that's why when you see these movies nominated for an Oscar,
Yeah.
well, they were not a box office success, you know, but they had a great story. Okay, they made $13 million and you win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Okay, Black Panther makes that for lunch.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true, man. That's just a great movie. And Black Panther is so powerful because the message is universal. It talks about doing right. It talks about people who do wrong. It talks about those two alchemies coming together, people that want to do wrong, people that want to do right, and how they always compete for power. We see that in Washington right now. We see that in politics. We even see that in religion. It would be so great if our great churches were not so concerned about who's putting money in their tithing box and tried to bridge the whole societies together so we can all form a better union and better equality and end hunger and do a lot of things that would bring our whole world together. And that's a lot of the movie that Black Panther talked about. So I really appreciate that. And I hope that people don't see it as just a black movie because it's a universal movie for anyone who considers themselves human, Big C. The NFL, briefly, we have Buffalo and Cleveland. I mean, what are they going to look like? They have the Bills making some moves. Cleveland's making some moves. Tyrod Taylor's part of that. Your thoughts on will they be two of the teams that actually make a lot of progress coming up in the 2018 season, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I really like what Cleveland has done thus far. You know, you've gotten a starting quarterback, all right?
Yep.
You got two starting receivers that you've brought in from other organizations.
Yep.
You've also, made moves to move yourself up in the draft still.
Yeah.
So you're not losing anything. You think about your buddy Mel Kiper. I mean, he's in a panic mode right now.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know what to think.
Yeah.
All these moves, he's in there scratching with his pencil and paper on his draft list. He's an expert.
Yeah.
He knows what the teams need. He didn't advise anybody on making these trades.
No.
one consulted him.
No.
No. What are they doing?
Yeah.
But, you look at the Bills, and you really have to question the Bills, though.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor took them to the playoffs last year.
Yep.
All right? Nathan Peterman had one start. Okay, and in his first start, Charles,
yeah,
he threw as many interceptions as Jimmy Garoppolo threw
yeah.
all season. All
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It is one start.
One start.
So you left yourself without a quarterback.
Yeah.
So they made a trade today. They traded their starting offensive tackle to Cincinnati for Cincinnati's draft pick, their first-round draft pick. They exchanged first-round draft pick. So they moved up to number 12, already in the first round.
Yeah.
So they're going to move up again prior to the draft, and they're going to get up in the top 5, and they're going to take a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a quarterback. They're going to sign somebody in free agency, but they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
If Nathan Peterman is what an NFL quarterback is, even Mel Kiper lies more than normal.
That's true, Big C. Yeah. You brought up that thing about Garoppolo. I think 7 starts and 12 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And so when you think about that, and a lot of people are jazzed on that, and then you have, 5 interceptions and 7 starts. I still look at that. And Kaepernick, when he had about 8 starts, he had 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So if my math is right, I'm not the best at math sometimes, but if my math is right, if one quarterback has 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and they got rid of him for a guy that has 7 starts and only has 12 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I mean, maybe the math is a little bit tricky, Big C, but, people can put that together. Your thoughts on Case Keenum? 11, I think he has 15 wins in 2 years with the Rams and also Vikings, and he still can't find solid ground, Big C. Your thoughts on Case Keenum?
Well, yeah, I mean, Charles, when you think about him starting in the last 2 years as a quarterback in the NFL,
yeah,
he has 15 starts and 7 losses.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's not a bad ratio. 15 starts and 7 losses as a quarterback in the NFL in the last 2 seasons. And he never started the season with either team. I mean, he was with the Rams. He had more wins than what Goff did with the Rams.
Yeah.
He came into the Vikings, once they had some injuries, took over, and he was 11-3 as a starter last year. But, he can't find solid ground.
No.
Everyone is coveting your cousin about being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know why you keep calling my cousin, Big C. People start believing those rumors. They start, just like I believe the rumor that you said the Masters, what'd you say the Masters did, Big C? You said they opened up something? They opened up the door?
Opened up the door to my noise.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. I thought you meant they sold out, but you said, I was kind of confusing your words, but go right ahead, Big C.
But, you think about, we talk about Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Think about this, and for all those experts out there to say that black running backs are devalued in the NFL, okay?
Yeah.
The 3 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
The 3 highest paid have never won a playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have never won a playoff game. That's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. Derek Carr. None of these players have ever won a playoff game.
Wow.
And yet they are the highest 3 paid players in the NFL.
Wow.
And so the moonshine is being passed around. and I can understand Le'Veon Bell. Okay, saying, hey,
yeah.
I need to get paid. These guys can't win a playoff game.
Yeah.
And Matthew Stafford, not Stafford, but your cousin's going to be to move into the list. So you think about it.
Yeah.
Next week, the top 4 highest paid players in the NFL will have never won a playoff game, John.
Wow. And
so who is the guy that's walking around using that terminology, franchise player?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a franchise player, and I like the comparison what you did with Garoppolo and Kaepernick.
Yeah.
The Kaepernick's last run in San Francisco.
Yep.
18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with no offensive line.
And no supporting cast.
Nope.
You know, and got cut. So got cut.
Yeah.
Can't get a job.
Yep.
So, you know, as far as how you're stacking up productivity, and I don't know if Kaepernick ever won a playoff game, did he?
I think he won twice. He went to the Super Bowl and then to the NFC Championship game back-to-back, I think, Big C.
Okay. All right, so he has a few playoff wins under his belt.
Yeah.
But I think all the geniuses out there is talking about this next franchise quarterback, this guy they got to have.
Yeah.
Just go look at the list of quarterbacks who have won playoff games.
Yeah.
Well, and sit there and think. The highest 3 paid players in the NFL have never won a playoff game.
Yeah, and you know, I saw Oprah on the Van Jones show, and she said, Google it. So if Oprah's saying to Google, maybe she heard it from somebody before in the universe, Big C, but she's saying Google it too on the Van Jones show. I love Oprah, one of the most powerful, most talented women in the universe, Oprah Winfrey is. Big C, as we close out today's show, I know you're big on sports, but I don't know if you're big on March Madness because they're not playing football. Could you imagine if they took, 60-some-odd football teams and played a national championship tournament, how much more money that could make? But, of course, you can't play guys 3 times a week the way they do in basketball. But we go out, we look at Virginia in the South bracket, and they're the number 1 seed. Okay, them good old boys, 31-2, and that's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. They'll play Maryland out of Baltimore City at 24-10, the 16 seed. And then if we look at the West region, we have Xavier 28-5. They're in Nashville, Tennessee. They're going to play the winner of North Carolina Central and Texas Southern in that bracket. And then before we go over to the other brackets, give me your thoughts on Virginia, Big C, with their history, and then Xavier. And then we also have North Carolina is also in that bracket. Your thoughts on who might come out of that bracket, Big C?
Well, Charlton, this is the first time since the early 80s that Virginia's been a number 1 seed.
Yeah.
You know, not since the Ralph Sampson era. You know, back then, you know, but, you know, they've been number 1, you know, the second half of the season, that they've stayed competitive. And, you know, it's deserved of where they are. They're a great defensive team. Tony Bennett has done a tremendous job as the head coach there, Charlton.
Yeah.
And I see them easily making the Final Four. If they get past this first game, if they don't come in there with their first game jitters, they'll be in the Final Four.
Well, they're definitely a good team. We look at another region, the East region, Villanova. They are 30-4, and they're the number 1 seed. That's in Pittsburgh, and they'll play between Brooklyn and Radford, the winner of that team. So Villanova looks good. We know what they've done over the years, and that big win they had against North Carolina a couple years ago, the last-second shot. So we really know how important it is for teams to get off to a good start, and you always got to like Villanova. But also, if you look at the Midwest, Kansas at 27-7, and they're the number 1 seed out of Wichita, Kansas, and they're going to play Pennsylvania, which is 23-8. I know Duke is over there in that Midwest bracket at 26-7, and you know, I think of a team that got the number 4 seed. We know that coach has been in trouble with Arizona, but Arizona's a team that could probably get to the Final Four because no one can handle Ayton. I think that guy's a stud. And I just want to get your thoughts on Villanova being seeded number 1. Also, Kansas out of Dorothy, Wizard of Oz country. They have a number 1 seed too. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Bill Self has done a tremendous job there at Kansas. I mean, they've been that perennial power. I think they've had 14 consecutive Big 12 titles.
They're amazing.
You know, to hold the two. But, you know, you also look at Villanova, a national championship just a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
And that tremendous game against North Carolina. But, you know, these are teams and programs that have been consistent.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, the bracketeers are looking for. The consistency in these programs, who will travel as far as making teams number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And so both of those are deserving. Even though, you know, Kansas had some tough times, even in their own conference, they still won their conference, Joe.
Yeah. No, that's very impressive. So we know March Madness is great. And, you know, it's still a free giveaway. There's $1 billion generated predominantly by African-American labor. A lot like Jim Crow, they're going to give you a hat and a pat on the back and maybe some shoes. And hopefully they can get some serious conversation. I love Jay Billis when he speaks because he's a lawyer. I hope they can start having a serious conversation about how we can make things more even for the athletes that earn the money. We're starting out Tuesday, St. Bonaventure 25-7 versus UCLA 21-11, and then Brooklyn 18-6 versus Radford 22-12. So we're all looking forward to filling out our brackets. I think Warren Buffett's even giving away money. So when Warren Buffett's giving away money, you know you got to pay attention. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bundini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you've got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, I'm looking to the movement of free agency in the NFL. It's going to really start tomorrow. Everybody's going to start releasing players in droves. A lot of veterans about to change some zip codes, Charlton, as teams start to restructure to build themselves up for the next season. Not the future, but next season. So get ready for some teams to get loaded, some for teams to just fall apart.
Well, we'll always look forward to whether it's Black Panther, the #1 movie in the universe, or whether it's Tiger Woods bringing back the ratings for golf. We have so many things to talk about in the sports universe. You can follow us every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Where you follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America, and Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no one should ever have to go through that garbage all on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.